Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Thought I'd bring a positive, more upbeat video for you on Friday as well. Yeah, we have to deal with so much nonsense, don't we? But there's something this is self-indulgent. I am being completely open here. There is something that I personally want to discuss, and that is the Superman and Lois TV show. We are now 11 episodes into the show. It's gone back onto hiatus. It returns at the end of July, around about the 27th or so, I believe. And 11 episodes in, how am I finding the series so far? Well, based off the fact that I've said that this is going to be a more upbeat, positive video, so far I find the series absolutely fantastic. I think it's brilliant. And it's a show which has really hooked me in with some great storytelling, great script. It's a very well written show, and more importantly, wonderful characters. And it juggles a lot of these characters as well. And one thing that I've tended to find, this will come as no surprise, by the way, when it comes to CW shows, is that characters inherently start to just have one voice. It's very difficult to really ascertain why one character is different from another character, because they're all in the same sort of echo chamber, because a lot of these shows like Supergirl, etc., Arrow, you know, basically after season 2, Flash, they've all started to just go into the activism SJW route, and so you just get a lot of, as Gary would say for Nerdrotic, emotions in hallways, and that's pretty much it. They all think the same, they all pretty much act the same. They become very boring very quickly. One thing that Superman and Lois I have found is that voices are very distinct in this show, and nowhere in the 11 episodes that I've watched has the show fallen into any diversity traps. And that's what I actually think is the show's greatest strength, is the fact that it's not playing with identity politics in the slightest. And that's such a beautiful thing to have in this day and age. And such a crazy thing to have, bearing in mind that this show is on the CW. It almost feels as this show has been written out of current time, as if this show was written 20 years ago. And that's a great thing. Superman, Clark Kent, is a nuanced character. And we've had to deal with a lot of him being a savior and a hero, as well as him being a father, a husband, him himself having his own not neuroses, but being plagued himself by what he would class as failures in his past that he's had to come to terms with, dealing with the fact that his mother has now passed on, and the guilt that he feels about maybe not spending the time that he could have with her. But in the same instance, that made him the man he is today. So there's great little, a lot of humanism, you know, a lot of humanistic elements there to be juggled with. But I want to go into, more importantly, I think, because I think this character was eviscerated, by the way. This character was eviscerated in Supergirl. And I didn't think there was any way back for Tyler Hoechlin as a Superman character. And so for the writers to do this has been just nothing short of genius. But I want to focus more on the kids and the supporting cast. Because I think they've got a bloody great Superman right now. So Lois Lane, the trap that they could easily fall into is the strong woman trap, which they always do. You know, she can do no wrong. She's the one who's leading Clark around. all this kind of stuff. And they don't do any of that. They don't do any of that whatsoever. You see a genuine love, and it's great chemistry between the two characters, between Lois and Clark. You see great affection between those two characters, great love between those two characters. And Lois Lane has her limits. Lois's superpower in this show is her brain. She's a great investigative journalist. And that's what she's doing in the show. It's playing to her strength. At the same time, it recognizes that she's a human. And she suffers from all the frailties as a human in terms of physicality, strength, etc. And so, yes, she gets put into some issues of peril. And yes, she has to call in Superman to save her. If this was Supergirl, of course, she'd just be saving herself, no problem. And when a show recognizes characters' limits, when a show puts a character's strength and weaknesses together, Kel Surprise, you get nuanced, complex, interesting characters. Now, that doesn't stop Lois from getting into trouble, and that doesn't stop Lois from getting into danger by any stretch of the imagination, because that's who she is. And that's the Lois Lane that we love. But it understands her limits and where they are and where they start and where they finish. And so Lois has been portrayed as an exceedingly well-written female character without having to fall into any of the traps or the tropes or masculating her and trying to emasculate Clark. No, none of it. Feels like two adult humans who are in love, who are married, and who have their own jobs. And that in itself is so rare to have nowadays. Then we have, I want to jump now to, and this is a spoiler, but, you know, obviously I'm going to touch on some spoilers at some elements. This is going to be a spoiler element, because I'm going to deal with the Luther character. We were introduced early doors to Luther. And the character removed their helmet at the end of the first episode, I believe it was. It might have been the second episode. And this character was a black male character identified as Luther. So you could be forgiven. Of course you could be forgiven. They purposely did this into thinking that this was a race-changed Lex Luthor. We then discovered soon after that this character actually came from an alternative Earth. Now, we know that the multiverse exists. The multiverse has been established within this continuity. And so, again, we could be forgiven for thinking that this was a different world's Lex Luthor who was black. The character was never based upon their color, was never played on by their color. The only time that I even recall color being mentioned is when the character wanted Lois to go with him to the mines, and he said it'd be a bit suspicious if there was just a black dude on his own. So if you could come with me, that would be better. And that was the character himself saying that. But because this is a well-written show, because this show purposely tricked you here, this character isn't Lex Luthor at all. The character isn't Lex Luthor. It's not a race-changed Lex Luthor from an alternative world either. It actually became, it was actually revealed that the character was, and this made me pump, was John Henry Irons, aka Steel, who is in the comics a black male character. And it showed the origin of Steel and how he came around, how this character used to be married to Lois Lane in that world, how Superman turned and joined the Kryptonians on that world and destroyed it, killed Lois. They had a daughter together called Nancy, I believe. And he created the steel outfit to fight back against the Kryptonians. And the beauty about the John Henry Irons character is they, as I said, they never played on color. It was never an issue whatsoever. And that's what made the character so good. Because they treat him as a person, not as an identity politic trope. And so they had a great personality. They were strong. They weren't effeminized. They weren't tweaked in any way to conform to today's SJW way that they produce black characters in comics. They're all femi weirdos now. No, they created a well-rounded character because they started clearly with the understanding of this is a character. And color was utterly irrelevant. And they had a great little arc, which of course is now going to start coming back. But I won't give all the spoilers away. Which leads us on to what I think would be the most complex and the most difficult side to deal with, which was the kids. The twins. Jordan and Jonathan Kent. One of them is the sporty one, the popular one. The other, the introvert, they suffer from, ADHD or, they suffer from social anxiety, I think they say in the show. And once more, you could be like, oh, no, how are they going to treat this? How are they going to deal with this? Are they going to make the character a victim? Are they going to use it as a conduit to discuss social issues? And the simple answer is no. No, they treat Jordan like a human being, like a normal human being who's not perfect. They don't get away with anything. When they err, they get chastised. When they do well, they get praised. When they have problems, they go to their parents. Their parents listen. And more importantly, they have a great relationship with their brother. They are so tight. Him and his brother, Jonathan and Jordan. And Jordan, of course, is the one who's developing the superpowers. And Jonathan, the sporty one, is the one who isn't. He's not getting any. And so we have, again, it would be so easy to use the powers as a message. Yeah. No. It's just used as a tool of a kid growing up who's struggling to deal with the fact that, yes, they are a little bit different. And now, to compound matters, they're physically as well as mentally different. Because they're developing these superpowers and they're coming on bit by bit and nowhere near as strong as his father, not even close. And it gets him into trouble. And it causes him problems. And he misuses them. And there was a great moment where he was playing American football. And he hits down this guy who's bigger than him. And he then gives him some smack talk. And Clark, who's helping, coaching the team, calls him over. He's like, come here. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to hit him down. He's like, that's not why I called you over. You know why I called you over. And it was about the smack talk. It was the fact that he used his power, his aggression, to not just knock him down, but to knock him down so he could give him the smack talk. And that was Clark viewed that as an abuse of the power. He understands that he's stronger than the other boys. He understands that he's going to perform better. He can still get hit himself, but he can hit hard as well. And I thought that was, again, just a great little nuanced moment that it was about the personality of the character, not just the physicality of the character. And we have these wonderful kind of, yin-yang relationship because of Jordan, because of these powers that his brother has. And as the guy who was always the sporty one, now relegated to the sidelines, while his brother is the one who takes the accolades, he's the one who's not getting any powers. He's the one that has to live with that. He's the one who has to lie for his brother. He's the one who just wants normality in his life. He just wants to get on with school, have a relationship with his girlfriend. His girlfriend dumps him. He misreads some signals from a pretty girl. When he goes to act upon it, she shoots him down. He's really embarrassed. We have all that stuff which we went through ourselves as a kid. And so Jonathan becomes the relatable twin. He's the one that we can see ourselves in when we grew up. Another, as well as we can still see elements in Jordan, maybe isolation, being introvert, thinking that we're an outcast, not being sporty, not fitting in. You have all that element with Jordan. And then with Jonathan, you have the girls, they're being dumped. They're having to live a complex life. So they both offer plenty for you to relate to them and understand. And then there's the girl, the daughter, Lana Lane's daughter, who fits in. And the way that the press release had written her, you were kind of like, oh no, she's just always going to get them into trouble. She's going to be leading the boys around with a leash. No. Is it Sarah? I think it's Sarah, the character. If I've got that wrong, I do apologize. But they've written her very well. She's got her own set of issues. She's got her own set of problems. She was with a boy to start with. Now she's not. They're split up because of kind of his aggressiveness. She sort of finds a kindred spirit in Jordan. And at first other than the fact that she admits that she attempted suicide last year, you don't immediately understand why, but as the series develops, you see a lot of back at home her problems. Her dad is a fireman. Obviously he's in a very dangerous job. He drinks too much. The parents are fighting and bickering. She's got a younger sister who she's wanting to look after as well, and so she has all those normal things that we kind of went through as well. And she sees more of a kindred spirit in the Jordan brother, who again he's more introvert. He's got his issues, and maybe she sees that more openly than in anyone else. And so again, the character is a friend of the Kent brothers, but she doesn't lead them around. They're not her play toys. She's not oh my god, I'm just like amazing. No. That again, the beauty, how many times have I said that, is that characters are complex. They're flawed. They have their strengths, but they have their weaknesses, and it's that which makes them interesting. And then with a cast of Lana Lang, her husband, and her husband's really complex and very well done. You have such a great cast with this show, and with the writing being so good, the entertainment level for me has just been wonderful. A great balance. It knows when to sit down and talk and have feelings, and it knows when to put up the dukes and have a good fight. It balances it so well. The flow is so good, completely unlike Loki episode 3. It understands when you need to have that downtime and when you need to have that uptime. It understands when you need to have that bonding and it also understands when you need to have that division. It's so well done. I haven't been entertained by a geeky show. I'll call it geeky show. For years, the way that this show has entertained me. And I wait with bated breath for its return. I think there's 15 episodes this season. I'm not sure if they're going to add any more. But if there's only 4 episodes remaining, I might wait for all 4 to happen and then watch them in a bunch and then maybe do a sort of finale video. But if you haven't seen this show, I absolutely implore you to go check it out. Because this is some of the most entertaining, well-written, such respect for the source material. It's wonderful to see in this day and age. And it's beautiful to see a show which clearly wants to entertain you first, before anything. Before anything. You can tell that this show is designed for you. We want to make our audience enjoy this. And so all the identity politicking is out. All of that nonsense is out. And like I said, it feels like we're watching a regular TV show again. The ones that we used to love and used to enjoy. There you go, folks. I think there's enough gushing for now. And I really hope that you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. Heel_versus_babyface. Link is in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.